Hello everybody, welcome to Virtualization Jumpstart Week 4. I'm here together with James again, and this is our final week of teaching. Next week is the big week, the week of the exam. Of course, today I'm going to cover what is in the exam towards the end, but before that, we still have an agenda to go through. I'm going to cover today which one is better, HyperV or VMware. To be honest, I'm going to leave the answers to you. As an IT professional, we don't have the luxury to say VMware or Microsoft is better. Why? If you're a consultant, then you need to work maybe with both of the environments. But if you're a decision maker, then the story changes. You can say, okay, I believe Microsoft is better because of this, and that. Or you can say, oh, VMware is better because of this and that. So what I've done is today, I quickly, I'm going to remind you what cloud is, how you can set up Microsoft Cloud, how you can set up VMware Cloud. Then I have big chunks of comparison between Microsoft and VMware. At the end, as I said, I'm going to talk about the exam. So as usual, our IT Masters website, CSU website, our Facebook, Twitter accounts, my details, my apps ready for you to download. So, week 1, we said this is a server virtualization class, and we said the world is going towards the cloud. I quickly defined what cloud was, but today I'm going to make a review of what we've done. Why? A, it's an exam topic. Definitely you're going to have lots of exam questions in that. B, it's really important to know these terminologies as we are already in the transition. Most of the businesses either move to the private cloud, which they call data center, or they are in a hybrid cloud, or some of them are maybe in the public cloud. So what is the cloud? Let's start with the public cloud. The public cloud is an economical solution based on shared resources. Basically, you're not going to have your own rack of servers, but you are going to hire some space which will allow you to save or access your data, your applications, and you will not have the huge cost of owning racks of servers, cooling, and etc. Of course, the disadvantage is you will only get what you pay for, which means you will be allocated resources. Think about that. You're going out to buy a laptop, you have only $500 budget. Of course, this budget is not going to give you the same laptop with the person who has $6,000 budget. With the $500 laptop, probably you're going to get Atom-based processor, limited RAM, limited graphics, limited hard drive, where with the bigger budget, you will maybe get an iCore 7 or AMD, lots of GPU power, lots of RAM, lots of storage. It's the same thing. The more you pay, the more resources you might get. By the way, I'm not comparing the prices. Maybe Amazon is cheaper than Azure, or Azure is more expensive than Google. I really don't know. But I'm comparing apples to apples. Alright, what is a private cloud? This time, you have your own cloud infrastructure. Think about your server room, but somewhat far away. Or could be also in the same location. So, this is solely for your own use as a company, where you can benefit the full scalability as well as the efficiency, where you might have to also maintain the complete control unless you outsource it. Then we get the hybrid cloud. As we spoke in week 1, it was a mix and match approach, which creates an ideal infrastructure of public and private network layers to have in your business the agility and and better budget. Why? Because you're not going to share everything up in the cloud. You're going to share only the resources that you don't need. I noticed many government customers, if they're going to cloud, they prefer hybrid cloud. What they do is they store everything which is important in their own data centers, and everything which can be shared, it's up in the cloud. So it's hybrid. As an example, think about the cars. You have full petrol, diesel cars. Now we have also a full electrical. These days we start to see more electrical cars, so it's full on electrical power. Then we have hybrid cars, right? Which has a battery, which recharges itself, but you still have to fill petrol to, if you're running out of charge. All right. Then we talked about SaaS, IaaS and PaaS. So what is SaaS? The software as service. What is that? It delivers at the software layer. An example, Gmail, Outlook, or maybe you can even get some other vendors such as Salesforce. Then we have infrastructure as a service. What is this IaaS? It delivers technical infrastructure components such as storage, memory, GPU, and network. An example, maybe Amazon. Or you can just use, of course, VMware or Microsoft. Why I'm giving you different examples? As this course was just covering Microsoft and VMware, just a quick reminder, there is many other cloud providers. Then we have the PaaS, which is the platform as a service. This is what you know as data center, which delivers IT services on the platform layer, such as an operating system or an application framework. An example is, for example, Azure, Windows Azure. You can these days have your own Azure Active Directory up in the cloud. So we covered three of them: the infrastructure, the platform, and the software. The software is the top layer. Example, Gmail, if you're in Australia, Optus Mail, if you're in Germany, T-Mobile, if you're in US, again, T-Mobile, email address, your Salesforce, your Flickr, and etc. The platform is where you have your app engine. Maybe you use Azure or Google or Cloud4. To be honest, I added many other stuff to see for the beginners that Microsoft or VMware are not the only ones. And the infrastructure is the Amazon EC2, the Google CE, the OpenStack, vSphere, HyperV, Cloud Stack, and many others. Then we spoke about the characteristics during the last 4 weeks. We said cloud is giving efficiency through utilization and automation. We talked about how delayed IT data center expansion can happen. We talked about Microsoft version of this and VMware version of this. Most of the cloud providers say being in the cloud is lowering your TCO, which is the total cost of ownership. Again, most of the cloud providers, or all of them, saying that you're going to have control with agility, which means you're going to have sole service access, which is supposed to simplify your IT services. And depending on your network speed, you should have faster response time. But what if you are in Qatar and your data center is up in Russia? Of course, you might have some delays. That's why it's really important to know the location of your data centers. For example, I was in a meeting this week. I found out that Microsoft is building a brand new Azure data center in Turkey. So if in Europe or Middle East, Turkey might be a good solution for you, as is the closest. For many years in Australia, we had most of our public or our cloud data centers stored in Singapore. Finally, this year and I think late last year, when I say this year, I'm talking about 2014 and late last year, 2013, sorry, I totally forgot we are in 2015. We started to have our own data centers. If you're listening from the US or from Europe, you have your own data centers located on your union. Why? Because the government is forcing, saying any European data has to be stored in a European Union data center or data center. And if you have the cloud, you will have the ability to freedom of choice. If you need to use any existing operating system application, you could do that. And if you remember in week 1, I connected to my Windows Azure service up in the cloud. I could just install many different operating systems, even in a Microsoft platform, where it's obvious that you can also do it with VMware. And it's totally up to you how and how much you would like to virtualize. So, based on the UC Berkeley Red Labs, there is 3 important things in cloud computing. The first one is the illusion of infinite computing resources. We did talk about it in many different occasions. Then, it's again up to you how you can eliminate the upfront commitment. So, it's basically your contract, your SLA, which you need to really take care of it. If I were you, I would look for ISO 27005 certification. If I were you, I would not just look in the prices, I would also look the return. Why? Because at the end, you have to pay. And you have to pay for what you use. Alright, think in a hotel, you pay X dollars of amount for the room. Then, if you're lucky, they have some complimentary water, but most of the time, you have to use the minibar, which most of the time, the minibar is not included anything. So, if you go to your hotel room, you will probably get your bed, your shower, towels for free. But if you want to eat nuts or drink something from the fridge or order anything to the room as room service, you have to pay for it. It does not include it. So you pay for what you use. We talked about cloud-enabled technologies. We said if we are today in cloud, I mean I said that, not we, virtualization is the main reason. Then storage, we did talk about VMware as well as HyperV virtualization options. Then we didn't mention that much about web services, but I think I had lots of questions on how we can use last week the V client or the HyperV client or the RD Broker. So most of them running also web services at the back end. Do we get any question regarding the review what we done on the last 3 weeks? James?
Not yet, Erdal.
Okay, Microsoft Cloud Basics. We said Microsoft comes in a HyperV client version and HyperV server version, where you can just use it as bare metal installation on top of your BIOS, or where you can use Windows Server. Then, we also talked that Microsoft has an extra suite which they call System Center, which helps you to manage your own data centers or virtual machine environments. How? They have DPM, for example, the Data Protection Manager, to enable business continuity. Again, please don't worry about this slide too much in the exam, but it's just to give you the backbone of how the data center or the cloud works. They have the SCOM, which is the SCOM, to monitor and report. They have Orchestra or Service Manager for the automation. They have the App Controller or DPM for delegated administration of self-service. I did show you how you can use Virtual Machine Manager to manage your physical and virtual components. So, This is all part of Microsoft Data Center or Cloud Suite. We did talk about Virtual Machine Manager. I said Virtual Machine Manager will help you to have bare metal deployment of virtualization hosts. You will have virtualization hosts and cluster creation, host group management, cross-platform management. I showed you the menu how you can manage or import virtual machines from competition. I said also HyperV is free or comes free with Windows, but Virtual Machine Manager you have to buy, which will extend the HyperV, and it will give you an enterprise level management platform in terms of storage, network, implementation, optimization. This could be intelligent placement or dynamic or power optimization. Then we said you can also use Virtual Machine Manager for controlling your apps. So you can use multiple Virtual Machine Manager instances. You could connect to your Azure subscriptions and see what you have at Microsoft. And of course, you have seen also the sole service virtual machine deployment. So I didn't talk too much in the last few weeks about Operations Manager. This is just an add-on. Again, you have to purchase it. If you want to monitor your virtual machines, your host, and your VMware infrastructure, you can buy extra license for the Microsoft System Center Operations Manager. Even though the System Center Virtual Machine Manager has the same name as System Center, I mean all of them called System Center, but the product suites are different and the licensing is different. So if you want to have a different reports and dashboards information, you need to upgrade to Operations Manager. Again, this is not part of the exam. Okay? So let me just quickly. Oh, what's happening? Not in the exam, but anyway, it didn't work out for some reason. My pen. All right. Why did I done that? Now I can get rid of it. So this is not in the exam. Let me quickly delete everything here and probably write with this one. Not in the exam. Okay? So Operations Manager is here to help you to monitor your private clouds as well as your own data center. But the main product was Virtual Machine Manager. But Operations Manager is giving you the option to use Windows Azure as well as some other components. Again, this is just an extra information for you. This is not in the exam. Please read it later. So I'm just leaving it as this. Not in the exam, okay? This is a hidden slide which we talked in the previous weeks. Okay. How you can evaluate server virtualization factors? When you start to build a virtualization environment, first, you should envision. You should know your project scope. How many virtual machines do we need? What is the budget? How many users are going to connect? What is the network infrastructure? Based on this, you have to find out the hardware requirement. So how many servers, the CPU power, the RAM, the networking, and etc. Then, based on your applications, you are going to calculate the compatibility. You have to know what applications and services you are going to support in your virtual environment. as all this comes for licensing. Nothing is free, right? So you have to find the most efficient way in terms of return of investment. All this is going to help you to build a proper project scope and hopefully build a nice virtualization environment. Microsoft is giving you some free virtualization solution accelerators, such as MAP. I will talk about it shortly. And you have also some non-Microsoft tools or infrastructure planning and design guides which you can use. Okay, what is this MAP? MAP is helping you discover your current environment as well as the environment that you're building. It will help you to build the inventory. Look at your hardware configuration. Look at your infrastructure as well as your storage. And it will have some inbuilt visits such as server consolidation or private cloud fast track visit where you can go and consolidate your hardware requirements as well as maybe build your SaaS as your cloud based on the visit via just inbuilt templates, which will make your life a bit easier. Where all this will help you to complete your project, will help you to list your workloads, because at the end you have to write a report to someone to say that, okay, this is my data center and all of this is built based on the requirements which our company had. And this requirements has given to me based on our analysis and talking to field engineers. Here is the list what we're going to virtualize. Here is the list how we're going to back up our design. Why? If you don't have a backup, you don't have any way back. Probably no backup means you should have a proper CV. Fault tolerance, like if you're going to have RAID or maybe in a Microsoft environment, HyperV cloning or HyperV replica, all the switches that we spoke about it. Then we talked about like NIC teaming, for example. What if one of your NICs dies, how you can have a NIC teaming inbuilt to have your networking up and running. So all of this is going to be based on your project scopes where you can determine your deployment and management technology. James, do we get any questions?
Yes, Erdal, we've got a question from Richard. Just asking you, is MAP software that you install and where do you install it?
Okay, you can download MAP from quickly here. Microsoft MAP, the Microsoft Assessment and Planning Toolkit, where you can download it and you can install it either, everything's here. I would definitely install it in my server, but you can also have many different scenarios. So all of this is given to you here. So to be honest, I did not cover this in detail. I just wanted to let you know there are some toolkits which will help you to have a proper assessment and planning. And the details are given to you with a basic Bing search or Google. Any other questions? So good one. Thank you. I think it was Richard.
Yep. Devendra's got a question. He asks, can a single VM be built across 2 or more physical machines?
A single VM can be, if we have HyperV replica enabled, for example, the answer is yes. What will happen is it will replicate itself automatically to the other server just in case one of them fails. Or what you can have is maybe your resources are here. This is your farm, okay, where you have multiple racks. Maybe your computing power comes from this rack, but if you have network storage enabled or iSCSI, maybe everything has been stored in the storage server. In this case, one physical VM has two different locations. One, where it gets its computing power. Two, where it's been stored. I guess this answered the question.
I think so. Yeah, that's a good answer, Erdal. Thanks for that. That's all the questions just for now.
Okay. What is Windows Azure? We talked about PaaS, IaaS, and SaaS. Basically, it's a public cloud offering from Microsoft. Again, here is my quickly. It was not planned. That's my Azure environment, which I'm connecting right now in. It's loading up. Excuse me. And hopefully, as soon as it loads up, it's going to give me my management panel. While this is doing that, beautiful. This is my Azure environment. What does it mean? I have, as you can see, a couple of servers and services running right up in the cloud. I have a VM, which is based on CentOS. I have a hacking machine, to be honest, to do my demos. And as you can see, the location, one of them is stored in West Europe, the other one is South Central US. Why? When I built this, I was in US. When I built this, I was in Europe. So it takes the closest location. And you will see I have around $78 credit, and I have to use this in 17 days. Oh, by the way, I got another account which still has some money in it, so I can use this in a different way. I can add more virtual machines. I can just connect to them. Like yesterday, I was in a conference speaking, even today, I was there this morning, which is called Transact Secure. I did demonstrate how the car bank virus helped the cyber criminals to steal $1 billion. And my demo machine was right here. I connected to this machine, and I showed how the cyber criminals, as you can see yesterday, it was quite active because I was doing live demo. I think we are going to have a security session free again here at Charles Stewart this year. We're talking with our CEO, Martin Hale, and a couple of different vendors. The date's going to be published, so I'm going to show you the details there. But now back to our topic. What is Windows Azure doing? It is giving you computing power. You can build websites. You can have virtual machines. You can have mobile or cloud services running. You saw probably I had my data management services. I could see my insights. Here, back to the dashboard. I can see my virtual machines, mobile services, cloud services. In this case, I have two different cloud services. And here's my cloud app, which I'm running. While this is loading up, I'm going to go back to my demo. I can run SQL database. I can have two different storage, and as you can see, in two different locations. I can see the insides of my computing power, of my virtual machines, of my mobile services, network services, the media services. It's basically a beautiful management panel. To be honest, I'm extremely satisfied with it. And of course, you saw my network and virtual traffic manager. I showed you in week 1 how you can create from scratch a virtual machine, how we can use CentOS, Ubuntu. Here's my, Windows Explorer. I think it's under Documents. No, not this one. I don't know why. To be honest, I keep forgetting the IP addresses. I have so many virtual machines, so many environments, where it connects me to my different services. And as you saw, I had my SQL, my SharePoint can be installed, my Visual Studio can be installed. So Microsoft was giving you all this out from templates, which makes your life easier. So you don't have to find the ISO or download it. You can just come, create a virtual machine from images, or you can just browse the virtual machine depot. And you can say, okay, I'm going to use Ubuntu or SUSE Enterprise, or you can just click on all and see everything what is available for you. I'm too fast, I know, sorry for that. So what else? That's my touch screen. You can just select what you want, then select where you want to save it as well. I can save it in Brazil, Japan, West Europe. Australia is not an option for me anymore as I moved myself to Middle East. My subscription, I can select where I get the licensing from, so I don't have to pay. Why? Because it's for my testing. I can use my Visual Studio Premium account and different storage options right from here. All right, go back. We don't have too much time. And you can create your virtual network, or you can just extend your data center with the Azure pack. Any question about Microsoft Cloud Platform?
None just now.
Okay, and this is where you can see the rest of the services. I didn't scroll down, but just to make your life easier. And this is my app service. Didn't load, doesn't matter. Okay, VMware basics. Remember, we use vCenter to centrally manage all our ESXis and everything which is in our ESXi host, which is our virtual machines. If you can't install it properly, if you can't configure it, then you will not have the full power of the vCenter. So please make sure you know what you're doing, especially when it comes to installing VMware vCenter. With Microsoft, week one, if you remember, I said the biggest benefit for me at Microsoft is it's a known platform. We all use Microsoft for so many years. If you didn't use VMware, things might be a bit different for you, and you might not be able to do exactly what you want. So that's why a proper training is really important. We did talk about the management platform of the vCenter as well. The vCenter, which is a service which acts in the central administration point of EXI, as you can see here. And it will host up to 1,000 per VMware instance. You can have again up to 10,000 powered virtual machines per vCenter instance as well. So this is where you manage all your VMs, your vSphere, your hardware, your service, your cloud. So similar for System Center. The architecture, if you remember, we talked about it. We said you might have your, not might, you will have your ESXi host. What happened? You will have your ESXi host here, okay? Then your central database, of course, you might have more than one database. your vCenter and additional modules, your single sign-on. You can even connect to your Active Directory domain, no issues at all. So, how does it work? VMware Cloud Computing gives you different options, and let me get my pen again. This is straight from VMware. It says, we amplify results. I mean VMware, not me, okay? How? While deploying the complete VMware solution, you will have full software-defined data center, which should increase your IT responsiveness to your business. Why? Because based on VMware, you will have a full service access to your cloud services and to your automation provisioning. Again, as I said at Microsoft, please make sure what SLA you sign in the service level agreement. Why? Because this is where you're going to have your, oops, sorry. This is where you're going to have your SLA agreement. Your SLA agreement is going to show you what kind of disaster protection you are going to have, what kind of operational and regulatory compliance you will have. Again, to be honest, VMware is not too hard to manage as well, as long as you know what you're doing. That's why it's really important to have your proper training. And we did talk about the details in the previous week, so I'm not going to talk about it again. We said you can have your private, public, or hybrid cloud. And the VMware WeCloud suite will enable you to have a proper vSphere-based private cloud. How? All what you have to do is like Lego, assemble your products that you want to use, which will provide you an infrastructure of virtualization, if you have the license, a disaster recovery, testing, automation, your cloud management, could be on premises or could be up somewhere else. We had our vSphere, which is the server virtualization platform. Then you can buy the site recovery manager, which will help you to have a disaster recovery and automation policy based on policies. So you can just put your applications and you can select different policies to how you can back up your applications. When it comes to cloud, VMware has also the vRealize, which is a smart performance capacity, and it looked at the configuration management for the vSphere environments. Then you have the vRealize optimization. The name is telling what it is. And vRealize business, which is again there to check in your costing. If you remember, Microsoft was using different system center suites where need to be licensed separately. It's not different in VMware world. So you need to have your licenses separately. All right, any questions so far?
Yep. Stephen has asked, how do you link a cloud server to your LAN? Are there remote firewalls and VPN settings?
Yes, security is inbuilt. We didn't cover that much security as this is introduction to cloud. But if you really are interested on security as well, I will have towards the end a couple of resources. Please check in your own time. But we can have LAN and different options, as you said. Yes.
Yeah. There's a built-in VPN service in Azure, isn't there?
Yes. And I know there's also in VMware as well.
Yep. And Amazon, Richard says.
Yeah, of course, Amazon as well. But I didn't mention Amazon because we don't have. It's out of topic.
We do actually have a cloud computing dedicated MOOC coming up. I think in a couple of months, which will be run by one of the Charles Sturt University lecturers who specialises in cloud computing, Peter White, which will be very interesting, and he'll be focusing a lot on the Amazon cloud computing platform. It'll be very interesting.
Beautiful. Here we go. By the way, I know the meaning. What was MOOC again? It's exactly. Yeah.
Using jargon.
It is what we're doing now.
Is the name of it. That's the course that we're all on now. MOOC stands for Massively Open Online Course, I think.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what we're doing now. So just in case the acronyms, if you don't know it, who cares? All what you care is it's free. And it's, again, run by CSU, thanks to IT Masters, and you're going to get free certificates. What else do you want? All right. HyperV versus VMware. Please keep in mind, it is not Apple versus Apple, okay? This Apple, not that Apple. You know what I mean. Not Steve Jobs' Apple. I'm talking about the fruit apple. All right. We all know it is a battle. Battle on what they can sell us. And the battle has started. So both of the companies have the good and the bad. It's up to us to decide what we want, how we want. As I knew this question was going to come up, besides Amazon, Microsoft, VMware, there is also Solaris. It's now Oracle, right? BSD jails, Sun, which is again Oracle. Sorry, Solaris is not Sun, is Oracle. IBM. So there is so many different virtualization choices. But we were and 5.1, sorry, and System Center. So we just focusing on these two, and the battle or whatever I'm going to show you now is based on these two platforms. By the way, I just noticed this logo. Keep in mind, I'm a long, hard reality. In real, I'm a Microsoft MVP, and for a long time, I worked Microsoft. So, if you ask me, my choice is Microsoft. But I'm very honest upfront. I'm telling you why, because I know the platform. It's not the same for you. I don't know. I mean, I can check all the students' name here, but because I'm in a conference center currently here in Dubai and Transat Secure, to be honest, I just use one of the rooms. So I don't want to open my virtualization. I don't want to look at this names, but I know I have a couple of students. They are VMware gurus. For them, VMware is better. So now I'm gonna try to be neutral as much as I can. Okay? This is I'm telling up front, I'm Microsoft, but I'm gonna try to be neutral as much as I can. So VMware is definitely the leader in the virtualization for a long time. Very honestly, they have solid products and the reputation is excellent. They have a huge data center and one of the largest in the world. On the other hand, we have Microsoft. Microsoft is the largest software company, but this is not true anymore. Microsoft is defining itself. I mean, now Microsoft has Surface, Nokia, Xbox, or the keyboard and mouse. Microsoft has also now hardware. So Microsoft is transitioning from being a software company to a cloud-first, mobile-first approach. To be honest, like it or not, the operating system is great. I mean, I saw so many people talking bad about Microsoft. At the end, they're using Windows. Really. It's widely deployed. I mean, based on the statistic, around 87% of the world is using Windows. They're getting better and better. I remember what was it called? I said I remember, but I forgot it now. Virtual server. They had virtual server in 2003. Ben Armstrong, an Australian IT guru, who had his own software, which Microsoft purchased it, and who joined Microsoft. Then with 2008, Microsoft started their first battle against VMware, which was HyperV. To be honest, it was far behind VMware. 2008 R2 started to catch up. It had really good stuff, and I said, maybe this is the future. Then with 2012, and especially 2012 R2 and Virtual Machine Manager, I believe Microsoft has came very long way in a very short time compared to VMware. And thanks to this battle, ESX started to be free, right? Okay, why VMware? It's definitely, they have a proven track record. We said a duplicate slide. Excellent products. And they have all the features that we need. Even though most of us, they don't use it. We don't use it. Again, both of them going to tell you that VMware says VMware better. Microsoft will be saying Microsoft is better. When it comes to VMware, the hypervisor, ESX, ESXi. The robust manager, the vShare client, the commitments, the live migration of vMotion. Then I just said HyperV has catched up in Windows Server 2008, and I think in some instances better compared to ESX hypervisors. It has lots of tools and environments, and all features of ESX are available in HyperV. And many of the ESX features that are only available with higher SKUs are free with HyperV. This is the reality. Okay, Microsoft tells you why HyperV. Based on Microsoft, HyperV is stable, the performance is good, the security is integrated, especially with Windows 10. You should see it. It's really great. It's gonna come out soon. Multi-tenant, flexible, high availability, resiliency. But what about crashing? We all heard about death of blue screen, right? Do you think VMware has it? No blue screen. They want us pink. So both of them has the good and the bad. Here are some resources for you, which you can go later check, and you can just find them via basic Bing or Google search or Yahoo search. The market share. Years ago, Microsoft was far behind, but today, as you can see, in 2008, Microsoft had 0% market share, ESX had 40%. Microsoft started to steal some market share in 2009, doubled it in 2010, had a huge growth. By the way, in the meantime, ESX was also growing. Why? Because virtualization started to be the main platform, right? And in 2013, I don't have the figures for 2014, Microsoft reached around 30%. So in 5 years, they had around 30% growth, where VMware growth from 40 to 52, which is around 12%. Again, this is, please, numbers. Not you should just make the choice based on this, okay? So if you look in the last 5 years, Microsoft is the leader. But on the other hand, let's look at this figure. More than 50% is using VMware. All right? So it's really important how we look at the numbers. And here's the numbers. Based on scalability, this is HyperV 2008, 2012. Microsoft did improve a lot if you remember at week 1, I compared HyperV 2012 versus VMware. As you can see, Microsoft has a really nice growth. And as you remember in the beginning, I said HyperV started to be better for me with especially 2008 R2 than 2012 R2. Let's look at VMware. In 2012 R2, it supports up to 320 logical processes. It is the half with VMware, even with the Enterprise Edition. But if you buy the Enterprise Plus Edition, they catch up at 5.5. If you remember in the beginning, Microsoft HyperV, VMware was leading, Microsoft was catching up, but they were able to turn it around. And all the figures are based on VMware website. Please have a look here. At the bottom here. Okay, you can check the data. The physical memory, Microsoft has up to 32 gigabyte. Up to 4 terabyte. Where VMware catch up later. So I'm not going to go through all these figures one by one, because I'm not going to ask you. If I go, I will ask you this in the exam. And to be honest, I really don't care. Okay? I really don't want you to memorize it. I want you just to see the differences. And they are not in the exam. This is just extra resources for you to see what has changed and who's better, who's not. So make your own judgment. Based on dynamic memory, for example, network quality of service was not available before. They catched up. And as you can see, they are nearly equal in everything now, except licensing. If you're already in a MS environment, then probably HyperV is going to cost you 50% less than VMware. This is going to be, actually not going to be, this is now started to be the key influencer. Everything is based on the budget. Again, I want you to check all this data in your own time, okay? But the thing which I want you to understand is, I did try to put the resources based on VMware and Microsoft websites. Of course, I didn't sit down and write all of these. I just copy and paste, very honestly. But this is a good indication where you should head to. Again, 52% of the market usage versus 30%. The biggest benefit, it is cheaper, if not free. This is expensive, and they're really equal. So, if in NEV, starting to learn virtualization, 52% looks more smarter. But if you're already Microsoft minded and trained, this is where the future looks like. Again, I believe they're gonna be equal in a few years, unless some of them come with a much better opportunity or really doesn't step up. But if you look the comparison, they are very, very similar, except in the cost. James, any questions?
Yes. So yeah, let's just ask for a confirmation. So who are you saying is more expensive in terms of licensing?
That's unfortunately VMware. I think I had this in week 1. I can quickly open the slide deck. Virtualization Jumpstart, week 1. All right. One second, I'm coming there. Here we go. I did have some sort of plus and minuses and licensing. So if you check, it's Microsoft versus VMware. Okay, so please check week 1, but don't worry, I'm not going to ask you figures, okay? So I'm not going to ask you which one is more expensive. I really don't care. Don't forget, both of them are commercial products, and none of them are paying me directly, or I don't currently work for none of them. So I work at Charles Sturt University. My job is, as a lecturer, give you the right advice as much as I can.
Awesome. Thanks, Erdal. Joseph has just asked, so do you see that Microsoft will overtake VMware in the future?
I hate to forecast. This is not weather which I can guess. Even with weather forecast, it's really hard to guess the exact weather, what's coming tomorrow, with all the advanced technology. But these figures here showed how Microsoft came in the last 5 years. Again, none of them are paying either us or IT Masters or yes, we are a Microsoft partner as Microsoft Academy partner and VMware Academy partner. So it's our job to teach both of them. It's your choice to select. I think this is I'm too political now. I would definitely look into this and make my own judgment. So
totally, and I think that's what everyone should do. They're both very valid solutions.
Definitely, yes.
And hopefully everyone can go away and try out the labs for both and see which generally you prefer.
Yes. Okay. So I can't tell. If, to be honest, if I could tell, I wouldn't be now lecturing in a university. If I could tell what is going to happen in the future, me and James probably were now in Bahamas and drinking our drinks, partying hard. But both of us sitting in front of our computers, trying to lecture and build a better future in terms of education.
So, just a bit earlier, there was a question when you were, there was a slide, comparing Microsoft and VMware, and Ujith has asked, what about Virtualbox?
Virtualbox is not an enterprise solution. We can compare Virtualbox with HyperV client or VMware Workstation. In this case, licensing is important. Virtualbox is free. For HyperV, you need to have at least Windows 8 or Windows 7. Otherwise, it's not free. Plus, they're supporting CPU and the operating system. With VMware, you have to buy regardless.
So, for a bit of an idea, what's an example? Could you give us an example of a situation where you might use Virtualbox, and then also conversely, a situation where you would use VMware or Hyper-V? Okay,
very honestly, I used first time Virtualbox in our hacking class. I was trying to show our students there are many other vendors, and Virtualbox is one of them. I think I recorded a demo how they can install it. But I either use Hyper-V or VMware. In my work environment, I'm a VMware guy. Hyper-V guy. And I showed you my work service many times. In my desktop, even though I have Hyper-V also, these days I started to use VMware Workstation a bit more. Why? I can tell you as well. Not just the footprint, because I don't want to just leave everything switched to Microsoft. I want to keep an eye also in or my knowledge in the other environment as well. Saying that, I use VMware. Saying that, I teach VMware classes. I'm a VMware certified professional, as well as Microsoft certified professional. So I make earnings from both of them. But to be honest, as I told many times, so I'm a very long Microsoft guy, and it's going to be very unfair if I say I like Microsoft more, because hey, I make more Microsoft. I make most of my living comes through Microsoft products. I hope this answers the question.
It does. Thanks, Erdal. Probably just 2 more questions I can see here.
So far, we got enough time.
I think it was last week or the week before we spoke about OVF templates.
Mm-hmm.
To anyone who doesn't remember, OVF templates, to my understanding, are basically a pre-packaged virtual machine that can be installed into VMware Virtualbox, or I think HyperV as well. Does HyperV take them?
Correct. With OEF, I think, yeah, because it's open standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the question is, can a template that was made for VMware be used on Microsoft Hyper-V?
Okay, you can import VMware machines via Virtual Machine Manager. If you have Virtual Machine Manager, to be honest, I don't know on top of my head exactly what is fully supported or not, but I know Virtual Machine Manager is giving you the extra add-on. It's giving the opportunity or the ability to manage VMware computers, platform, and import stuff from there. To be honest, I did not try the OEF, and I didn't come across before. But I think we can post it to the forum and maybe ask someone who did before.
Erdal, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said Virtual Machine Manager. So I think the thing about OVFs is it is an open format, but in the end what's packaged inside is usually it's the virtual disk that is specific to one product. So if you have a VMware OVF, I'm fairly sure, someone correct me if I'm wrong, that will contain a VMDK file, which is the VMware disk file. But I'm fairly sure you can put an OVF, or at least the contents of it, straight into Virtual Machine Manager and convert it to a Hyper-V
I guess so
virtual
too,
machine.
but as I wasn't really sure, I didn't want to say yes or no. You know what I mean? I did not try it myself, but from top of my head, the answer is yes. But can I give it as an academic answer? No, because I might be wrong. The last thing which I want to...
hopefully that answers it, Devendra. Another question here. Which of the two is better for a non-domain environment? I'm guessing Fred means a non-active directory environment.
Use the. I mean, if it's just for testing or for a couple of virtual machines, Hyper-V is free. If you're Windows Server, you don't have to pay anything extra. You can just enable Hyper-V, and that's it. Why pay anything extra? But don't forget, we talked about the licensing. You have to look at the end what you're paying and what you're getting in return. That's exactly what it is. What you pay and what you get in return. Think about a car. Look, seriously, I mean, I love Lamborghini. I love, by the way, here in Dubai, I saw a golden one. A golden Lamborghini. I took a photo. It's in my Facebook if you want to check it. I love Lamborghini, but hey, I got 2 kids, a wife, three girlfriends. No, just joking. So how am I going to fit into a Lamborghini? So even though it's great, it's not suitable for me. I mean, yeah, if I want a sport car, maybe I go to four-door sport cars with a bit more extra space if I had the budget. But in most of the cases, this is not the reality, right? We go what will fit your environment. I mean, if you have 10 kids, you would probably not hire one living house if you had the money. A house with one room, studio apartment. It always comes to the demand and what you have in your pocket, the dollars. At the end, dollar is the key differentiator here. If you have the budget, then you should look which one is easier. Like everything is the same. Which one is easier to use? Which one has more compatibility? Which one has more enterprise management features? put them in a list. Put the good and the bad. Tick, 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 tick. At the end, select the product which has more ticks for you. Same applies for a car. If you have $50,000 to buy a car, there are so many options you have. At the end, first thing I would do is, if it's a family car, I'll check the safety, airbags, NCAP rating, then fuel efficiency, then power, then. Does it make sense? When you go to Carrefour or Migros or to Woolies, Coles, or to Aldi, I'm trying to give different company names, or in US to Target to buy your grocery. Australian, please don't get confused. US Target, you can buy grocery as well. So when you go, you want to buy bread. You will look first which one is if there is only one brand available and you need the bread, you will not look. You will just buy it regardless. But if you have many options, you will look at the taste, at the freshness, at the, it goes on and on and on. Same applies in my eye to virtualization platform. Questions?
Just one last question before we move on to the exam. Fred has asked the question. So if we want to try out one of the hypervisors, VMware ESXi or HyperV, on a bare metal install for a test environment, which has the easier management?
Okay, both of them has bare metal support. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Which environment do you know more? Microsoft or VMware? Did you answer back?
Microsoft.
There's the answer for you. If you said both of them, I would say, you know what? Now, Microsoft, but let's say you have a limited hard drive space. The footprint is smaller at VMware. Unless you install the HyperV edition of Windows Server. Then still the footprint is a bit smaller here. But as you're a Microsoft person, I think the answer is for you towards there. I don't know if, let me quickly check the attendee names. I know we have a couple of attendees there, VMware professionals. For them, probably I'm going to point VMware. You know what I mean? It is what you're using, what you've done. So if you're a hardcore VMware guy, it will be really not that, and you got the budget. That's also important. Moving to Microsoft currently is going to cost you training, migration, compatibility, extra licensing, because now you have to buy Virtual Machine Manager to be able to import everything. So even Microsoft says usually the return of investment is going to be not straight away. Why? Because upfront you have to spend some money. But in long term, the return of investment is going to be better based on Microsoft at Microsoft. Based on VMware, at VMware, both of them say they're good, and to be honest, both of them are good and bad parts. Questions?
That's it for now.
All right.
To the exam.
The exam. We got 8 minutes left. Next week, we don't have a live class. I'm just about to finish the exam questions. I'm going to send them to James. I was supposed to send it last weekend, but I had that conference, 2 sessions, the exam questions. So you're going to have a 10-question quiz in the next 24 hours in our IT Masters form, okay? To give you the look and feel of the exam. Most of them going to be multiple choice. Some of them going to be fill the gap. Some of them maybe I'm going to give a screenshot. And in this screenshot, for example, let's assume where do you select Hyper-V, for example, management console. You're going to select this area. I don't know if it's going to be possible.
Actually, just as a correction, we probably won't be doing any fill the gap questions.
You don't want it this? Okay, I
We've
prefer
had too many issues in the past because the grading is automatic rather than, I mean, with hundreds.
Yeah, but fill the gap. What I'm going to have A, B, C, D, and for example, C is going to be the answer for the fill the gap. Please.
Oh, right.
I'm not typing. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's still multiple choice, but filling the gap in multiple choice.
Great.
I mean, I wrote a couple of questions. As usual, I'm going to give you some more. Feel free to... Oh, so you're going to see the exam questions. Don't sell them. All right, next week. The exam will be timed. It's open book. And to be honest, if you're going to just go through the book and then to the questions, you're not going to have too much time. If I were you, I would study before. It's going to be in your own time, in your own computer. Those who pass the exam will receive our certificate of achievement from IT Masters and Charles Sturt University. So, yes, you're getting a certificate, assuming you pass the exam. All what you have to do is a 50% pass mark. So, 40 multiple choice questions. And I highly urge you to keep an eye for our practice test. In our IT Masters website. Okay? I'm going to have the answers shared as well. It's a very good practice. I've done it many, many times at the back. Use very, very similar questions or maybe exact same question in the exam. So it's up to you if you want to get a few extra marks. So that's it from my end.
Just a couple of questions about the exam, Erdal. One is, when do we have to do the exam by? I don't know if you just mentioned that, but the exam is open for 1 week. So starting from 1 week from now, so whatever, next Wednesday, the 4th of March, the exam will open, and the exam will stay open for a full week, and it will close on the 11th of March, which I urge everyone to not do it on the 11th of March, because you never know if you might have an internet connection problem or if you might have an issue with the time zone setting. And we
it's important to remind it's based on Australian time zone.
Yep, and that's it.
So here, this is what James says. It's open 4th of March based on Australia. So if you're in US, it's ending at 10th of March for you, not 11th of March. Okay? If in the US, it's starting for you 3rd of March. Why I'm saying that? I know we have many students which is based in US. So please, everything is based on Australian Eastern Daylight Time, the UTC plus 11. Sorry, James, yeah?
Yep, that's it. Perfect. But yeah, I urge people just to, it's not as daunting as it might seem. Erdal's going to put a sample exam up of, I think, 5 questions, just to get a feel for what sort of questions they are. They'll be up at the learn.itmasters.edu.au site. It's not so daunting, so don't leave it until the 11th, because if you miss out, that'd be a shame. The certificate of achievement is for anyone who gets 50% or more. There's no certificate of completion or attendance for less than that, because really anyone who puts in the time listening to the webinars and going out and trying the product a bit themselves will definitely pass this.
So one more thing from my end as well. I received so many emails during that week saying, I done the hacking countermeasures exam. Yes, you can do it, but as soon as the time frame passes, you will not able to get any certificate. So this is the courses that I delivered there that I joined at IT Masters. Okay, if you go ahead and do the SIPS exam, you will not get the certificate anymore. So the certificate is only given if you pass the exam before 11th of March. or on the 11th of the March. So what is if we sit on it on the 12th of the March? You pass. Beautiful. You pass the exam. That's it. No certificate. Okay? As usual, I'm going to Twitter. And it happened in the past. It was really cool. I loved it. People, they passed the exam, they're tagging me or tagging IT Masters. Please feel free to do so. To be honest, I love it. That's my public page. If you scroll down, you will see previously students passed and they tagged me. It's great. We like to see what you're doing. Please tag us at Twitter, at social media, if you have the account, at LinkedIn. Now, because I'm looking for it, I can see it. At the end, you're getting here we go. For example, Mirat shared it in my page here. Some other guys, ladies, done it. So Twitter, don't forget to hashtag as well, IT Masters or us. Please feel free to share your feedbacks from there as well. The more the better for us. Thank you very much for joining our 4-week journey. As James said, we have many more courses coming. The details will be, the details is going to be in our web page. All what you have to do is go to IT Masters. Let me just go to the home page. And you will usually see what is coming next here. If you signed up, you will get also an email from us, or keep an eye on our social media site. I think it's a good way to improve your knowledge. And the best thing is, remember, what is the cost? Free. Trust me or James, we are employees. Of course, we do many stuff volunteered, but currently we're getting paid. So the university is spending some money to educate you. And I received also, believe it or not, 3 emails during the week. Yesterday, someone I forwarded to our admin team. Probably they will come back to you soon. You can get credits for your Microsoft, VMware, ITIL, POM. The many different certifications. You can get credits. You don't have to be an Australian. You can be international. You don't have to fly to Australia to do your exams. We have exam centers worldwide. A good example I always give, even though for the last 2 months I'm here. I am based in Dubai, but I'm a lecturer, and I'm a student. I'm doing my PhD at CSU. So if you go, I can show you. I'm a staff.csu.edu.au every time I come in, and a student. I'm a student at the same time. What I'm trying to say is, you can do it as well. It's possible. It's great. I love it. I recommend it. And the free courses are there. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to end up this journey. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to meet you very soon in our next course. I don't know what it's going to be, but me or some other lectures, we are all working on it, and IT Masters is really spending lots of time and effort and money to help you to get educated. James, would you like to add anything about for IT Masters and CSU, which I maybe forgot?
No, you always cover it better than I could. It's very good, thank you.
Thank you. All right, questions?
Oh, there's just some people saying thank you. Thanks, everyone. We appreciate you all joining in. Richard's just said credits for what? Sorry, credits for MS exams?
Yes. All what you have to do is go to IT Master's website. From here. Where is it? No, I lost it. Can I get credit? Click on it. If you have already completed part of all the industry certification covered by course, for example, if you have Microsoft Certified IT Professional, you may receive credit by showing evidence of this. All what you have to do is come here. If you're an Australian or international, click in the link. If you are an international student, we expect you can speak and understand English. And the rest is here. I mean, it's a CSU online application. It takes you back to Charles Sturt University. Believe it or not, I done it years ago myself. I went to the website. I filled up this form. Even though I knew James from TechEds, I knew Martin or Neil, which is employees of CSU IT Masters. I had to fill it myself. I received an application acceptance form. I finished my masters. Then now, hopefully, end of this year, if I can finish my thesis, I'm going to be a doctor, thanks to IT Masters, who's the bridge for Charles Sturt. And I'm not saying that because I'm actually a CSU staff member. I'm not saying that because I work for CSU. I'm saying that because I done it. Do you have to have a university degree to do this? No. Please, all what you have to do is come to our website, IT Masters website. Everything's there for you. To be honest, even I don't know. If you email me, all what I'm doing is I'm forwarding this to the admin staff. Everything's here for you. The fees, everything. If you have credits, to apply the credit, all what you have to do is fill up or email me or James. james.hale@itmasters.edu.au. My email address, by now, I think you all know it. It's erdal@itmasters.edu.au, or you can just also use eozkaya@csu.edu.au as well. Let me just open my slide deck from yesterday. That's the session which I delivered yesterday here in Dubai, and that's my CSU email address. Okay?
We've got a message here from Andrew saying, I did the Feb 2013 Erdal hosted short course and enrolled the next day with CSU and now 50% through the Masters of Info Systems Security. That's awesome, Andrew. We've seen you on the courses here. It's great that you went on to enroll in the Masters and you're enjoying it. That's
he was one of my smart students. Also, I was his lecturer. I don't remember which class, but to be honest, he came as a student. He came as a guest. He became a student. Now he's a friend of mine. I guess you don't mind. Do you mind if I share your Facebook, Andrew? So people can see you? That's him. The owner, I guess that's him. The owner of Accent Networks. Very intelligent gentleman. To be honest now, he's my friend. Most of you are adding me on Facebook. I can see already a couple of people added. That's what's it. I see us as a family. Extended family, all my students, everybody who's attending my conferences. Feel free to join us, be part of us, and at the end, you're getting an accredited diploma. It's not just, I'm talking about the masters, okay? You're getting accredited by an Australian university, and I'm glad to say that CSU is now the biggest university in Australia in terms of student numbers, and we deliver a fair bit of numbers online. And again, look, I'm here in Dubai. It's 2:30 for me here. It's 9:30 in Australia. I know we have students from London in this course. I know we have students in US in this course, in Argentina, in Africa. So extended family. It happened so many times. While I was walking here in Dubai or in some other countries, people stopped me saying, Erdal, I'm one of your students at IT Masters. We actually, you will see it somewhere here if I can scroll down. So it's a look, this gentleman again, he was a student in January. He just was tagging me in his own event. So what I'm trying to say is, you came as a guest, you stay as family, and to be honest, I like all of you. I try to help as much as I can. So thank you very much. Now, any other questions, James?
Just got a message from Richard here, just saying he's starting his MBA next week. Is that the MBA with us, Richard?
I hope it is.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Oh, good luck with that.
How did you find us? Is it via the short course and you signed up, or you were going to do it anyway, but you done the short course after? Look, this one here. It's a really small word. Unaccepted and shocked moments when you met your online study network security teacher as he lives much far away. Destination Australia. I was sitting in a coffee shop. That gentleman, Fahad, came and stopped by. Said, "Are you Erdal?" I said, "Oh my God, yes." I had my wife and kids with me, and actually a family friend. You can see, amazing to see how far. Okay, don't worry. She was sitting next to me, and it happens. I can show you photos in Barcelona, believe it or not. I can show you photos in US and Australia. So I'm glad that I'm meeting all of you. I'm glad special thanks to James here, who really helps me in every seminar. And look, I delivered so many classes, and most of them I was traveling far away, but he handled really, really good. Special thanks to him. He's my angel.
Cheers.
All right. Any questions? By the way,
Richard just said, to clarify, these free short courses don't give you credit into the masters, do they? And I can answer that one. They don't. They don't give credit into the masters. The credit for the masters has to be for sort of the industry certifications from Microsoft and VMware and such.
Yep. Okay, so we gave you many real-life examples, how people join, and to be honest, if you attend my security classes, I say there is nothing for free. So how is this for free? We do it for free, yes, but in return, you join our master classes. Again, of course you don't have to. I mean, we gave a couple of examples. They joined, but we have thousands of people join to this class. Not everybody is joining. Even if you got 3, 4, 5, 10, the more the better, of course. That's what we want to achieve, grow our family. And IT Masters, believe it or not, CSU, it's like a family. We all work in different locations. We come sometimes together, most of the time online. We have famous jackets which we give to all of our graduates. We have beautiful drink parties when you graduate, so you have to work hard first, then the drinks and your jackets are on us. Correct me if I'm wrong, James?
Yeah, no, that's right. It's good. The graduation's a fantastic ceremony, getting to meet all the students.
Yes, same here. I mean, I showed you a couple of examples in Facebook and then that, it's really, really great. it's so many examples. It's just good. I'm glad to have this opportunity. I'm glad to know there's people at IT Masters at CSU. Okay, so please keep an eye on our websites, in our social media accounts. This is the social media accounts for CSU and IT Masters. Join us at LinkedIn as well. And that's it. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you very much for everybody who joined so far. It was really a pleasure to be your instructor in the last 4 weeks. Your journey has not ended yet. The most important part of the journey for you is probably next week, the exam. So I wish you good luck in the exam. Please keep an eye on our forums and make sure you go through the sample questions. And please do me a favor, pass the exam. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.